The road home felt longer than it ever had before. Esi and Kojo walked through the quiet fields of Kuntaa, the silence feeling heavy, like the air itself was holding its breath. As night fell, they reached the village square. The moon hung in the sky, a strange blood-red color, casting their shadows long and sharp on the ground. Kojo whispered, his voice barely audible. It feels like the drums are still playing somewhere. Esi clutched her gold drum tightly. Because the shadow hasn't gone, she replied. It's waiting for us. As if on cue, a cold wind swept through the square. The very ground beneath their feet began to shift and move. Cracks splintered across the earth, glowing with a dark crimson light. From these fissures, a black mist rose, coiling and twisting until it formed the shape of a man, the spirit of Kwabena, now warped and hollow. You tried to silence me. The spirit's voice rasped, a sound like scraping stone. But rhythm cannot die. It only changes. Esi stood her ground, her gaze unwavering. You don't belong here anymore. The spirit hissed, a sound full of malice. I belong wherever there is pride, anger, and fear. I am the echo of every broken drum. Villagers began to pour out of their huts, their screams piercing the night. Mama Abina pushed through the panicked crowd, her hands raised. Esi, she called out, her voice a beacon of calm in the chaos. Remember what the silent drummer said. The battle is inside. Esi nodded, understanding dawning in her eyes. She closed them, shutting out the terrifying scene and listening not to the noise, but to the quiet space between the sounds. Her heartbeat began to slow, finding a new, steady pace. Then she began to play. Her rhythm was soft, yet unwavering. Doom, da, doom, doom. Kojo, seeing her resolve, joined in with his own red drum. Their rhythms didn't clash. They met and merged, becoming not two separate sounds, but one unified beat. The spirit roared in fury, striking its own shadow drum with phantom hands. The earth trembled violently, the huts shook on their foundations, and the red moon itself seemed to crack in the sky. But Esi didn't falter. A warmth spread from her chest to her hands, and the golden light from her drum grew brighter, wrapping around her and Kojo in a protective embrace. Kojo, she shouted over the din, match my heart. He nodded, his focus absolute, and his beat quickened dum-dum-dum. The golden light surged, rising higher into the night. The shadow spirit screamed as cracks of light spread across its misty form. You cannot destroy rhythm, it cried in desperation. Esi's voice was calm and clear. I'm not destroying it. I'm making it whole again. She raised her hand for one final, powerful beat. Dum, the sound echoed with pure, undeniable life. The shadow shattered into smoke and vanished into the sky. Silence fell, profound and complete. Only the soft, resonant hum of the two drums remained. Morning came, gentle and golden. Birds, long silent, began to sing their songs again. The villagers gathered around Esi and Kojo, their faces filled with awe and wonder. Grandfather Nee stepped forward, his movements slow and deliberate. "The ancestors are at peace once more," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You brought back the true rhythm." Esi managed a faint smile. "It wasn't just me, it was all of us." Kojo grinned, a flash of his usual humor returning, and a lot of running. A ripple of laughter spread through the crowd, breaking the tension. For the first time in many moons, the village of Kuntaa felt truly alive. Mama Abina placed a warm hand on Esi's shoulder. "The drums chose you," she said softly, "but remember, power must serve peace." Esi nodded, the weight of the words settling in her heart. "I'll never forget that night the village held a great festival. The air filled with the sound of drums, not with the rhythm of fear, but with the pure, unbridled beat of joy. Children danced, elders clapped, and even the stars seemed to blink in time with the music." Esi and Kojo played side by side, their two drums singing together gold and red, light and heart in perfect, harmonious balance. As she played, Esi felt something profound stirring inside her. It wasn't magic or some great mystery. It was connection, the deep, simple feeling that everything, every sound, every breath was part of one great, universal song. When the music finally slowed to a gentle close, she looked toward the forest. For a fleeting moment, she thought she saw a faint figure name, the silent drummer smiling, his own drum across his shoulder. He nodded once, a silent approval, then faded into the soft moonlight. Kojo whispered beside her, "Do you think he's gone now?" Esi smiled, a true, peaceful smile. "No, he's part of the rhythm, just like we are." The wind rustled through the trees, carrying a soft, distant beat. Dum, dum, dum. It wasn't angry, it wasn't afraid, it was simply alive. And so, the people of Kuntaa learned again what they had forgotten, that drums do not just make sound. They keep the very heart of the world beating. The next morning, as the sun rose over a renewed village, Esi and Kojo placed their drums side by side under the great baobab tree. "Rest," Esi whispered to them. "Your song will never be forgotten again." A gentle breeze moved through the leaves, sounding almost like applause. The rhythm of Kuntaa lived on. Thank you so much for joining us for this story. If you enjoyed the journey of Esi and Kojo, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more tales like this. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, stay well.